And you're very welcome back to the very last part of Drive Time with Eric McCarthy. Coming up in a few minutes' time, I will be talking to Jerry O'Mullane. He is an actor. The Bond Delusion is the name of a screening of a Bond Delusion on Easter Saturday, April the 16th at 6 p.m. That's in the Regal Cinema. And he's going to be telling us all about that, explain how the movie was made with no money whatsoever. Directed, wrote, starred in it, edited the soundtrack and light and sound for this movie. All the actors work for free. So I'll be talking to Jerry O'Mullane right after the next song. My next guest, well, he wrote film, starred it, edited it, directed it, the whole lot. I'm delighted to be joined on the line even by Jerry O'Mullane, actor, screenwriter, director, the whole lot. Good afternoon, Jerry. How are you?
Hi Eric, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you, very good. I'm quite intrigued with this movie, first of all. I suppose just tell us a little bit about yourself first and how you came about doing this movie.
Sure, thanks Eric. So I'm an actor from Cork, and basically a couple of years ago I just made the decision that I wanted to kind of be able to make films as well. I wasn't satisfied with just being an actor, and I thought, well, couldn't I learn the skills myself? So I went to Kinsale College for 2 years to study TV and film, and after that I bought a full-time course, and after that I bought some equipment, and basically I made a few shorts, and I came up with an idea for a kind of a 4-page short that spun out completely into a feature film, and this film was called Bond Delusion. And basically what started off as a sort of, as I say, a 4-page script became a 75-minute film that was done completely with no budget, with all the actors not being paid, and basically having to learn every single aspect of it myself, including editing the film on and off for 2 years.
That's quite some undertaking, isn't it? It's unbelievable, actually, to take on that kind of a project and complete it.
This is the thing, I suppose. You know that you don't know that you're biting off more than you can chew is probably a very convenient thing sometimes, because I think if you knew what you were getting into,
yeah.
So as I say, this thing kind of happened organically, and I had never done anything on that scale. I had done a couple of short films. I had another. I teamed up with another lady. Her name is Noella Clark. She helped me to film the film at the time, and she was able to get some actors in around us. So the two of us basically were operating the cameras, but we were also in the film. So I wrote the film, directed it, acted in it, did the soundtrack, did the editing, the lighting, every aspect of it. So if I was not in the scene, I was filming the scene. If Noelle wasn't in the scene, she was kind of the wife in the film. She was filming the scene.
Yeah.
And so as I say, and when I got into the edit, then I had problems. I hadn't dreamed of the scale of the film. The computer was crashing on me. I had all sorts of just kind of technical things I hadn't conceived of. I wanted to give up about 1 million times, but I had an incredibly determined sister, whose name is Valerie Russell, who was doing the PR for me, who drove me, because honestly I wanted to give up. I said about 100 times editing the film, but the end result then turned out to be, well, great from the feedback we're getting. So it's kind of I look at it almost as a kind of a miracle. No,
it is, honest to God, at this day, to take that, and I can't believe you did it. Honestly, it's well done. That's all I can say. Absolutely well done. Tell us a little bit about the movie. What is it about?
So there's a guy, basically the premise is there's a guy called Paddy O'Sullivan, and on the surface of it, at the start, it looks like he's had some sort of mental breakdown, because he was put into hospital, psychiatric hospital, but he's got out. I mean, the man was sectioned, he's unwell, and he's in it. Basically, we're introduced to him in a tuxedo. The guy thinks he's James Bond, so he has a James Bond accent and everything, and a very silly kind of Connery-esque accent.
Yes.
But he's even hearing voices. So basically, he has 3 toys with him. His daughter's toys. There's a proboscis monkey, and there's 2 rabbits, and he thinks one of them is M, one is Q. And he thinks one of the rabbits is an agent called Sanchez. And because I speak fluent Spanish, I was able to do the accent and the Spanish for Sanchez. So you have scenes where everybody is me. You could have a full-out dialogue, like an argument, and everybody's cutting across each other. And it's me and 3 other me's that I had to do in post. So, I mean, the timing of that audio, each clip had to be recorded multiple times. And then done up to like the hundredths of a second.
Yes.
Like a real kind of argument breaking out. But basically, anyway, the premise is that it looks like, okay, this guy he's kind of crazy, or is he? And the kind of twist in it then is that, as I say, his wife and his daughter are beside themselves trying to kind of get Paddy back, because Paddy's kind of gone on the run. But the thing is, then a whole load of international terrorists actually come after him. So it's like, what in God's name is going on? And that's the kind of, it's that sort of premise of mistake. It's a kind of a trope that's done in comedy, where you have a guy thinks he's something, and then it's like, we all think he isn't, and then suddenly, oh my God, is he? And it's one of those things, like why are all these guys coming after him, and what the heck is going on? And that's kind of where it's off then on a kind of
brilliant
spin for 75 minutes.
And I presume you're a Bond fan, are you?
As I say, I'm a massive Connery fan. I mean, it's almost a cliche to say that, and I loved what they did with Daniel Craig with Casino Royale.
Yeah.
I didn't like the last two. I thought they went very cartoony again. But I'd be a huge fan of the more manly kind of Bond, the more grittier Bond, And I just thought it'd be really funny, because a Scottish accent is tricky. So I thought if I did a bad Scottish accent and made a kind of a joke out of it, so you can't go wrong, because nobody can say, well, it's a bad Scottish accent, because it's meant to be.
Yes, yeah. Fair play. Now you're going to be showing it at the Regal Cinema in Youghal.
Yeah, so it's on in the Regal Cinema Youghal for one night only on April 16th, and I just want to thank Killian at the Regal and everybody, because really it's amazing. I mean, they've donated this venue for us. Now they will be charging €5 a head on the door, to recoup some of the costs. But I mean, they've given us this venue for the evening, which is amazing. We actually we premiered first in Clancy's last month, in Clancy's Bar in Cork. And on the strength of that then, and we got an article in the Echo, and we had an article in the Cork Independent. Again, my amazing PR sister was able to reach out to the Regal Cinema that had the kind of vision as well to kind of see what we were trying to do, and they've offered us the venue because, as I say, it's for one night only on April 16th, and you can buy tickets on the website, and there's a link from the page as well. But basically, what we're trying to do, we're trying to say to people is, look, I made this thing with no money, none of the actors were paid, and the clue, I just had an idea to do something, to do an entire feature myself, and it's getting pretty good feedback, and given the extreme limitations I had all over the place, it looks pretty good, sounds pretty good on the big screen, and it's a bit of a riot. It's funny, it's wacky, and it's kind of all things Cork. So it's really kind of, we're trying to send a message out, and I'm sending a message out. You can do it. You don't have to wait for funding or budgets. And
yeah.
What I'd like to do after this, at the moment I'm constructing a website, because I've done an enormous amount of stuff over the last 2 years. I've done 5 or 6 music videos, I've done a few short films, I've done documentaries. I'll be putting up all of my stuff. I'm a musician as well, but this film really, it's to kind of show the potential I feel I have as a filmmaker and an actor and a writer, and then the hope is to get funding and people in around it, to take it to the next level now, because I can't do everything myself, and I don't want to be honest, but I have loads of ideas to write and to act, and I would like to get professional people in around it in terms of funding and in terms of people with skills in film and other areas to come in and join me. And this is really, it's a calling card, Bond Delusion, I think. Yeah,
and I think there is a lot of positivity here, I presume, in the film industry for local talent and creativity. How do you find try to break into the mainstream part of it? Or is it very, very difficult, or are they opening doors for you?
We see it kind of depends. It kind of depends. It's like what you're trying to do. I mean, at this level, it was an achievement to get the film done in itself. So there are levels and stages, depending if you're trying to go to television or if you're trying to go to cinema. I mean, it's not like the doors are closed, but there's just steps, and you have to kind of, I'm at this level now where I get this out, and that kind of shows ability. The next level then is kind of people to take an interest, because before you go really to the level of kind of broadcasting stuff or Netflix and stuff like that, you need to be mentored, you need to be brought along, and normally the process is somebody like myself will do something like this, people then with more skill and know-how and connection will take an interest, and usually you're mentored. Like a lot of the time with RTE now and with television and stuff like that, somebody will do something, and what actually happens is another company will come along often that has a contract with the TV or cinema, and they will kind of say, look, we will come in with this person in collaboration. So there's usually stages. So I wouldn't say like the doors are open, they're not closed, but there's a lot of stages.
But really, what you're doing here is you're putting yourself out on the shop window here, and like you're trying to show the potential that you have. Really, isn't it?
This is it, because I think the film, given again the limitations and given I had to do everything myself, it looks and sounds pretty great, I think, and I really think, often, my God, if I had a budget, if I had a lot of other professionals with me, because the scope and scale of the film obviously has to be very limited. I mean, within the kind of locations you could have and all that, So, I mean, I'm not going to be doing stunts and jumping off.
Yeah. And where did you shoot the film?
So we shot it in Cork and Fermoy, mainly. So we used Cheers Bar now in Fermoy was one location we were given. A lot of it we were just using our houses,
Yeah.
There's even like a layer for there's kind of Bond villains in it, and I mean we literally used someone's house in Fermoy, and they had like a version of a tree house, but like a cabin, literally like a full size kind of cabin outside of their house on their land that you'd go up about 15 feet up steps. It's just totally unusual, brilliant location for kind of the last 15 or 20 minutes kind of finale of the thing, So basically, like, it's just, necessity is the mother of invention. Anything we could get our hands on.
Yeah. So I presume a lot of that, the locations and all that kind of stuff, a lot of that was on the fly maybe, and if you spotted something, that might work, that might fit in there kind of thing.
This is it entirely, because I mean, even when I bought the camera, like, I mean, the first time I was even using the camera cost like $5,000 without even. No, I don't want to put people off, because you don't have to go off and get the camera I got. Like, I don't want to lose the philosophy here. Is you can do this. I did have a cinema camera, right? But even, you could have achieved everything. Would have taken a bit longer. Like when you get a camera with all the bells and whistles, certain things that helps me with my exposure. So I don't want to kind of, when I throw in that line, make people think they have to get a €5,000. You could get a €300 or €400 camera. You don't, right? But the point I'm making is, like, I was literally terrified, and I turned on the camera for it. I thought, if this thing falls over, like, the tripod.
Yeah.
Brand camera nearly fell out. You'd be losing your life. But the whole thing, again, I think the whole thing I'm trying to get out here is, like, just have a bit of courage and go for it. I mean, that's kind of what I did with this.
And to have the belief in your own ability, and if you have a project in mind, go for it. You have to take that chance and take that opportunity, just like you've done. A lot of hard work, I can imagine, a really lot of hard work, and it's your baby. It's a lot of work went into something like this. So you have to have that belief as well that you're able to pull it off, and I presume.
This is it, but the interesting thing is, it's almost like, they say life is what happens while you're making other plans. So I was procrastinating so long, because again, you get this idea, like, you have to know kind of, with filmmaking, you have to be consciously incompetent for a long time. You cannot, you have to make the biggest omelette and break a 2,000 eggs. You cannot start off filmmaking thinking like you're going to capture perfect sound, you're going to understand how to light stuff. It's one of those things, you can even see the dollar value go up as the movie progresses. Like, I mean, it's 75 minutes long. You can see everything goes up in dollar value, literally minute by minute, as I was actually learning in the process,
Yeah. But fair play to you. It is a massive undertaking, and just to have completed it alone, absolutely fantastic. And it's great to see local talent as well coming through, and I suppose to get the chance then as well to show it in the cinema as well, which is an extra added bonus as well. So it's on for one night only. It's on the 16th of April at 6 p.m, and I presume we can book tickets online, as you say, or we can, if there's room on the night, it'll be only there for the one night anyway, I reckon.
This is it, yeah, as I said, and it's fantastic that the Regal would do that, and we had a look at it last week down on the big screen. It looks and sounds fantastic. So one night only, April 16th. You can get your tickets on the Regal Cinema website, and also if you go to the Facebook page, there's a link. Well, we'd really just say to people, like, come along, it's great fun, and for other aspiring filmmakers as well, if you want to see what can kind of be done. And as I said, the website is the next thing up now, and this is the calling card, and hopefully, more will follow.
And I presume, have you got a Twitter account, Instagram, or anything like that? People might be interested in following what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook. So the film is being put up on JN Productions, is the name of the Facebook page, because that was the name of the page at the time when the film was done. But so that's where Bond will be up. But I also have, it's just my name, Jerry O'Malan Productions is my own actual film company now, because as I said, when the film was done 2 years ago, it was under the name of JN Productions. So JN Productions, to actually see the film, to see Bond Delusion in Facebook. But you can also then, you'll see links from there anyway, there's Jerry O'Malan Productions as well. And Jerry O'Malan, which is my name, is Facebook as well. And I'm on Instagram too.
Brilliant stuff. Jerry, thank you very much for talking to us this afternoon. The very best of luck to you in the future. I mean, I'm sure you have a great future ahead of you, and the very best of luck to you. Hopefully we'll be talking again sometime with something even bigger again.
Brilliant. Eric, thanks a million for the platform.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Cheers, Jerry. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Jerry O'Malan, absolutely, when you think of what he's after doing here, he's after directing, writing, screenplays, acting, filming, the whole lot of a 75-minute film. That is some undertaking. And editing and all that kind of stuff, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So try and get out there if you can. 16th of April, try support them. Great to see Killian as well in the Regal Cinema, inviting people like this local talent in and showing their wares as well. So fair play to Regal Cinema as well for that. Absolutely brilliant. Go and see it. It'll be well worth your while, I'm sure. So thank you very much as well for that, Jerry.